So we're going to start off by exploring the line plots that we did in the time series lecture, lecture 3. And here's the code that will create an interactive line plot for each time series in the data. Okay, so it's not quite familiar because we haven't been using pandas to do our plotting. We've been using matplotlib and breaking up the commands into multiple lines of code, which I think is an easier way, or it's certainly something you should be aware of as a possibility. In hvplot, we do it very much like you would do with pandas, and you can just put all the everything into one function, this hvplot.line, like you'll do a pandas.plot.line, and then you put all the details like the size of the window and the labels and the titles. You put all those details in as parameters to that function. Okay, and then we use hvplot to show the plot. hvplot.show to show this plot. We don't need to do that in notebooks, but for the standalone examples, I need to use this hvplot.show. So, okay, as I said, we're passing some metadata, frame size, labels, and title. As I said, this is also possible with pandas. We could do this with pandas, but we've done it using matplotlib directly. And that will give us a picture something like that. Let's actually run that. So let's find that example. Control-Shift-F10. And so this reads in the data. As you can see, it reads in the data. It constructs, print it out. It always takes a while to run these. It constructs this hvplot, and then it opens it up in my browser. Okay, and there you can see the plot, and you can see already I can hover over it and get some details about it. I'll show you more about that later. And there's on the left-hand side here, sorry, on the right-hand side, there's all the interactive tools that I can use. Okay, so there's the interactive buttons. They're not so different. There's a pan. That's that pan, is that one. Okay, I can move it left and right. I can do a box zoom, so I can zoom in onto a particular set of data. Notice that the axes will adjust to that as well. So if I pan left and right, you can see the axes adjusting accordingly. What else have we got? A wheel zoom. Okay, that's a new feature. So we haven't got that in matplotlib. So now I'm using the mouse wheel to zoom in and out. So rotating backwards and forwards to zoom in and out on the picture. There's the save as a PNG, and then there's a reset. So there's the save as a PNG and reset. And this allows this hovering with the details of every point. I'll show you more about that in a minute. So there we are. Without much effort, we've been able to produce a nice interactive plot. One thing that's really useful, however, is the interactive legend. So this legend on the right-hand side is now interactive. Unfortunately, because I've got so many features here, so many lines, it's disappeared off the top. But for example, I know that AF and L are the very top ones, aren't they? I can click on F and it fades it out. So click on L and it fades that out. I can't get A because it's up the top here. But I can pick on lines. So what's that one? The pink one there. That's variable G. I can get rid of that. And it doesn't disappear completely. It just fades it out. And I can therefore use this to home in on lines that I'm interested in this particular visualization. Okay, I can also do exactly as we did before. I can create line plots for a selected product. So for the high volume ones, I can do that. You can see it's just using the same code, except that now I'm using data selected. So it's using the pandas data frame and picking out the selected columns, just as we've done before, and then doing a plot of those things. Or I can do subplots, so just as we've done before. And this is much easier, actually, than some of our code for doing subplots before, because I just say that for those selected columns, AF and L, I set the subplots to be true, and it's just one extra parameter setting, and then I get 3 subplots like that. Let's show you that one running. So very easy to get those subplots. Okay, and I can zoom in on them, and you can see they're connected together. So as I zoom in on one, let's go back home, reset. They're all connected together. So as I zoom in on, say, the January part of this one, it'll zoom in on January. Well, it's more than January, isn't it? Zoom in on that for all the other plots. So they're all connected together, which is a great feature. And if we want to do that vertically, so if that's not convenient to have them spread out horizontally, we can put that plot. Okay, so here's the change. The only change is that I've put .cols 1, and that tells the HV plot library that I just want one column of pictures, and so I get something like that. And of course, if you've got particularly if you've got these time series line plots, you might want them very narrow and stacked on top of each other, so that's quite a useful feature to be able to use. We can also get more tools on these plots. Okay, so by default, we've got pan, we've got box zoom, we've got wheel zoom, save and reset, which I showed you. But we can also put in those tools, so pan, box zoom, wheel zoom, save and reset. But we can put in things like redo, undo and redo, and hover. Okay, so when oh no, hover was already there. I just didn't show you that before. Undo and redo is really useful because that allows us to do that feature where we can go backwards and forwards from one view to another. So let me show you that one. So this is with these tools. It gives me these two extra buttons that allow me to go backwards and forwards. So here's the plot. Suppose I decide to make that a bit smaller. So I'm making that smaller. This isn't the interactive feature. This is the browser. I'm making the browser smaller. Suppose I decide to zoom in to, oops, I didn't mean to do that. Let's reset that. I decide to zoom in to, say, the first 3 months of the year. So about that much, isn't it? Roughly. Okay. And then I decide to zoom in again to maybe just January. That looks like that, but then I decide to go backwards. I can go back to the first 3 plots, I can go back to the original, or I can go forwards. So those are very useful to construct views and walk through them. Okay, the only annoying thing about that is that when you specify the list of tools, none are included by default. So you have to include all the ones that were already there, the default ones, the pan, box zoom, wheel zoom, hover, save and reset, as well as the new ones that you want. But the new ones, the undo, redo, I think the hover was there already, wasn't it? So the hover, they're really useful. The hover allows you to hover over a value and show what the particular date is and the value for that date. You can't quite see that because let's make that bigger again. Make it bigger again. Okay, there it is. You can see that I can hover over a point and it'll tell me the values for that particular point. So that's our interactive plots. Quite easy to do for the line plots. And now we're going to work through with some more examples and show you some more features. I'll stop the video there and we'll look at doing some other chart types.